Hey, isn't that Davy Allison?
Where?
Right over there. I'm Zeke.
Hey, that wasn't Davy. Yeah, let's go back and play.
Pit stops are so important, so crucial in these races. As you know, they talk about these 12 and 14-second stops. That is almost unfathomable to we of the average world, and so we went out to show you exactly what the difference is between a Grand National pit stop and what you and I know as a change to a flat tire on the highway. Brock Yates helped us along.
You are about to see an impressive demonstration. It does not include the foursome in this small sedan. They'll serve as a sort of benchmark for all our average workaday mediocrity when it comes to that special ordeal of motoring, the tire change.
Grab the jack. What?
While they grope for the luggage and try to decipher the workings of the jack, note the arrival of a group of experts in the background. This is the Darrell Waltrip Grand National Pit Crew, a trained team who have turned the mundane chores of tire changing and filling the gas tank into a minor art form. They can give their man 4 fresh tires and 22 gallons of gasoline in less than 20 seconds. As for these clowns, we suggest you time their tire change not with a stopwatch, but with a calendar.
What an incredible career he has had. 200 wins. He was first here for that very first race in this 2.5-mile track at Daytona in 1959. He wound up 57th. And miles covered. Take a look at that. 265,000 career miles. How far is it? Well, go around the world in that car number 43. And then a little further. Considerably further. Say it's 240,000 miles to the moon, and put him right there. And I'll bet you today he thought he was halfway there in about 2.5 seconds.
Keystone Beer presents a NASCAR profile. When he was only 8 years old, Ernie Irvan began swerving around the dirt tracks in California. By the time he was 16, he was at the short tracks driving his dad's stock cars. Ernie, the youngest driver out there, running away with nearly every race. His competitors were unhappy, very unhappy. So after more than a few battles on and off the track, swerving Ernie Irvan left for Concord, North Carolina to conquer the southern short tracks. Ernie also spent some time at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, not driving, welding seats at the grandstands to try to make ends meet. A 1987 sponsorship by Dale Earnhardt didn't last very long, but it did help Ernie get the attention of longtime car owner D.K. Elric, who hired Irvan to drive his automobile. More sponsorship troubles came along, though, at the end of '89. But then Judy Donlevy would come to the rescue, giving Ernie a chance to drive in 1990. But just 3 races into the season, sponsor troubles again, and Ernie was again looking for another ride. After Rockingham, though, longtime car owner Larry McClure called. Ernie finished 3rd in his first race with the Kodak team in Atlanta. And then, 6 years after welding seats at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, he won the 1991 Daytona 500. Ernie Irvan still a dominant force during the '92 season. So far, he's won 3 races. He's led 13 of the last 15. And he stands 11th in the current Winston Cup point standings.
Dave Blaney, the sprint car driver, is being pushed out of the race right now in his Winston Cup debut. Tough break for Blaney. Very talented young sprint car driver. They bought this car from the now defunct Team 3 when their race cars were sold at auction. But very impressed with his prospects here on the senior circuit of NASCAR. In 1988 at the Knoxville Nationals, he had this crash in the qualifying heat. But then, that same night, Blaney came back to win the feature in high style. This fellow's a racer, and that's the name you're going to hear more of, Dave Blaney. From, I believe, Hartford, Ohio. Sprint car racer. Cortland, Ohio, rather. There he is. And sadly, his Winston Cup debut comes to a short end here.
They had the go-karts. They had them out here on the main course the other day. Ah, yes. And it was there you see Ron Hornaday. And as he is so many times, getting himself involved in a ticklish situation.
Things seemingly took a bad turn for Jeff Gordon, as he has a problem with loose lug nuts on the left rear, and the 1995 champ loses 2 laps in the pits on a green flag stop.
The multitude of the Kings fans have remained true blue over the years, and all proudly fly his colors. They pay tribute to him in some of the most unlikely settings. That, number 43, is no coincidence.
And when I was a young boy, my father was a big stock car fan. We'd sit at home and watch the races, and he'd always speak of Richard Petty. He really loved Richard Petty, and he took me to a race in Daytona. It's been eons ago, and little kid standing there at the fence looking through in the pits and looking around, and I said, "Hey, Mr. Petty," I waved at him. I remember he was, at least 100 yards away, and he took time. He saw me standing there, a little kid. He walked all the way across the pit area and talked to me and gave me an autograph, and it just made just one heck of an impression on me. And he's one of my idols and one of my heroes today, and he's a living legend, and he's got me indulged in this sport.
Well, we're standing by. The crew is kind of guarding Rusty right now. He's sitting in the car. He's awfully disgusted. Rusty, what happened?
I had a battery problem. The battery shorted out, and the ignition quit. So they're putting another battery in right now to try to get it going. I believe we got it right now. Thank you.
Okay.
How many of you folks have watched Home Shopping Club? Well, is anything you want to buy there on television? Well, here at the racetrack, anything you want to buy right here at the parts truck. Let's take a look. Well, we got goggles to start with. We got window netting. We got restrictor plates. This is the one that's legal right here. 1-inch plate, Daytona Talladega, makes you go about 185 miles an hour. But this big guy right here will put you over 200 miles an hour. It's illegal, but it has been used, and it's on sale right here. Well, how about parts? Take a look at the catalog. The front few pages of this catalog show what's legal. You don't want those guys. You want to go to the back 3 or 4 pages. That's where everybody buys from. Those ones aren't legal, but they go awfully quick. What else do we have here? Collar. Collar to put underneath the helmet. Your head won't flop around on Sunday. It makes it very comfortable during the race. On Monday, you go home, take the collar, stick it in your mother-in-law's mouth, keeps her quiet all week, and you're happy too. What else do we have here? Bell helmets for sale. A nice, soft, padded seat. These things here are excellent. They actually are on the side of the seat to keep you from sliding around in the car, but some car owners have been able to use these things and put them on either side of their drivers' heads as blinders. The drivers won't get scared in traffic. Some guys have been accused of using these for years. They can't see a thing in traffic. Well, what else do we have? All kinds of things. Anything you want to buy here. Covers, transmissions, all kinds of parts. A virtual hodgepodge of parts on sale right here at the garage area. Come by and see me.
60 miles an hour is a good, comfortable speed to be driving down the interstate. But how many times do we have someone to pull out and pass us, perhaps going 65 to 70 miles an hour? And as you can see, it doesn't take them too long to get by just going 5 or 10 miles an hour faster than we are going. Now, the race cars are running about 190 miles an hour, so we're going to pull off the interstate onto the racetrack and show you a dramatic difference in speed. Now we're on the 2.5-mile Daytona International Speedway, where there is no speed limit. To go around this track in the passenger car at 60 miles an hour, it would take us 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Well, Dale Jarrett goes around here in 47 seconds, but that C is over 190 miles an hour. So we're going to let him go by now as he gets up to speed the first time, which is about 120 miles an hour. Now let's watch him come by at 190 miles an hour, which is full speed, and wow. Now you notice, we picked him up coming off of turn 2 at full speed, and we were going 60 miles an hour down the backstretch, and he makes a full lap while we just make the distance down the backstretch. No wonder his mama always said he drives too fast.
So you sent me out to find some local culture. I'm a race fan. I found a local racetrack. Well, we don't have anything like this at home. They call it drift car racing. Stock passenger sedans that do anything but go straight around the racetrack. Kenny Wallace and Kenny Irwin came with me. They decided they wanted to try their hand at it. Wallace went first. All right, so he didn't do any good. Irwin got behind the wheel for a spin. Well, despite their best efforts, they brought the car home in one piece. Japanese drift car racing, our heroes at their best.
See, that's us. That's how you do it.